In this video, you are going to learn about Django's admin and its capabilities. So without wasting any further time, let's get started. Well, hi, I'm Shubham and subscribe to become a better software developer. You know what? Django's project or application comes with built-in functionality for admin, where it lets you do all the CRUD operations. But they are very simple in nature. What if we want to extend and become or make it a little more complex or more UI friendly or feature friendly so that it will be helpful for us or for anyone accessing the Django admin. So let's try to do that. But even before starting, let me run the project. And I believe that you have already created your super user while accessing or while doing this project. So that will be helpful over here. If not, you can create the super user by typing python manage.py create super user. Looks like I made a spelling mistake, so make sure you correct your super user correctly. Okay, so let me show it to you. Python manage.py create super user. You can type in anything. I'll say admin2 because I already have admin created, and admin. Yes, you can enter any password. Okay, let me clear it. Make sure your environment is activated. Mine is activated. This blog is that environment. So let me do one thing now. Let's run the project python manage.py run server, and we'll navigate to this link. Let me bring it up over here, and instead of going over here, we'll go to admin directly. Okay, admin. Oh no, there is no CSS present over here. It looks ugly. This is one of the common issues that developer faces while accessing the Django admin. And this issue is that the CSS are not available. So for that, what we'll do is we'll go to our settings.py and we'll go on top to installed apps. And if you come over here, you can see there is something called as contrib.site static files. So Django contrib static files. This should be present in your installed apps. Once this is present, it will say something like this. It will give us error. So we will go down, and over here you can see static URL. I'll uncomment this. You have to, it should be there by default, but in order to show this problem of this CSS issue in Django admin, I had done that. And well, you can go ahead and add two more configuration over here. Those are static files underscore dir, and this is a list. In this one we are going to give base dir front slash static. Okay, and there's one more, that is static underscore root. Okay, and in this one again we are going to give base dir front slash, then we are going to say static files. You can save this, and if you go back to admin, it should work. If it still does not work, you have to run one command, and that command is python manage.py collect static. Okay, you have to run this command, and after this it should be able to work. So let me run the project, and if we go back over here, it is still working. Now let's log in into admin side, and let me zoom in. It will be very smaller for you. So you can see that post and comments are two different models, correct? And if you know, every post will have some comments, not just one but multiple comments. So why do we want to show this separately, right? What if we could have gone to post, and even before that, over here post only title is available, no other details is available. Okay, and when we open this, let's go over here. As you can see over here, we don't have any comments. What if we wanted to add comments at the bottom? Right, so we can do that. And also before that, what we can do is for the post we can show few more details over here. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll go to admin.py. In this we have already done is registration of these two models, so post and comment. If we don't register, then it won't show up in the admin side. So we'll start by changing this post model or post list model over here. Instead of just showing the title, we'll also show the slug field and owner details field. Okay, what do you mean by owner details? If we go back over here, you can see there is something called as owner. That means any post has some owner, correct? So we will try to show some details of this. So for this I'll create a new class and I'll call it as post admin. In this one we are going to take admin dot model admin. Over here first thing we'll give is model, that will be post model, and that comes from models dot post model. Then we are going to say list underscore display. Okay, so whatever is being displayed over here is list. So whatever is displayed over here is the list display. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and create our list display. This is a list, and in this one first we'll say title, because that is what first field is. Then we'll say slug. We'll save this, we'll copy this post admin and we'll paste it over here. That is in admin site.register, after models.post we give this class. Save this, let's go back and refresh, and as you can see we get slug. But what if we wanted to get some owner related details? That is a foreign key field. If we go to models, over here you can see it is a foreign key field. So let's try to do that. What I'll call it as owner details. Okay, so when we do this, and if that field is not present, as you can see it is throwing error over here. So let's go ahead and do something. We'll create a def, we'll say owner details, and this will take in self comma obj, that means object, and we'll return is obj dot owner dot username, because we have username for sure. And over here we need to give decorator. Decorator will be admin dot display. In this one we can pass multiple things, as you can see, but we will use two main things. One is description. This description will be the title of the column. Like slug, we will give something, we'll call it as author name or author username, and we'll also do is ordering. Okay, this if you want you can do it, if you don't want you can skip it. So I'll call it as owner underscore underscore username. Let me format this. Oops. Let me format the document with black, save it. Let's go back, refresh this page, and as you can see we are getting author username and the author's username over here. This was how we can display multiple things. For that what we did is we created a class called as post admin, then we inherited admin.modelAdmin. We gave model as whatever the model name is, and in the list display we give all the fields that we want to show it over here. And let's say that we wanted to create a custom field, we give the field name and then we create a def for that, that means function for that, and return it with whatever details we need. And we also register a decorator with description as the name of the column, and ordering you can give up to you. It is not necessary that we always need to give. Even if we don't give, it will work, as you can see. Now let's say that you wanted to create some filters as in like over here there should be some filters where user could click and go up and down and all those things. Like if I go to users, by default we have some filters, and as you can see it is like staff, and these fields are present, basically these filters. So what we can do is, for that again we'll go to post and we want to create it over here, right? So let's go back to our admin functionality or admin.py. In this one we need to specify only one thing, that is list underscore filter, and this is again a field, actually a list, because it is saying list filter, so it is a list. In this one you can specify whatever fields that you wanted to create filters on. So let's say I want to create filters on title, and secondly I want to also create filter on owner underscore underscore username. So let's save this, go back, refresh, and as you can see now we have filters on the right hand side. It is as simple as this. to just get filters and use it. Now let's say if I click on test, as you can see it will show only this. So you can create your different filters and go ahead and use that to speed up your development or speed up your processes. And if I click on admin 2, as you can see I don't have any admin 2 posts, so that's why it is not like it is not showing anything. And if I click on admin, it will show. If I click this, it shows all. So it is as simple as that. For that, what we just did is we created list underscore filter and gave all the field names that we wanted to use in the filters. Now let's update this, and in this one we will try to show all the comments related to this particular post. And this is ID number 4. So let me go to comments and see if there are any comments. Okay, there are no comments. Let's first add it up. So we'll say comment 1. I'll give it to, it is test 2. Okay, so let's add test 2. Owner will be admin itself, or anyone you can give it. I'll approve, save and add another one. Comment 2, I'll give it to test 2 again. Let's say this time admin 2. Save and add another. Comment new 1. Definitely this will be from the front end, and we'll give it to other one so that you can understand that yes, it is working. Save, done. Now let's show these comments related to only this particular post over here. So we'll go back to code and we'll create a new class. I'll call it as class comment admin, and we'll use admin dot tabular inline. Okay, so we'll use tabular inline. In this one we are going to just specify model equal to this comment model. Okay, so comment model, we are going to take this, and in post admin, right, we are going to use it. So we'll take this class and we'll go to post admin class. In this one we are going to say inlines equal to list, and in this one I'm going to paste it. Let's save this. Actually we have already used it over here, so we need not make any more changes. Let's go back, refresh this post, and as you can see at the bottom we are getting comments, and it says comment 1, comment 2, and it also shows the details like it is done by admin 2, admin, and it is approved or not. And we can delete it also from here by clicking checking this checkbox and like clicking on like save and continue, or whatever action you want to take. Or we can even add it from here just like that, correct? So it is one of the great functionality of Django. Now if we go back over here, we can see, let me go back over here. As you can see, comments is still there, but it is not required anymore. So we can go ahead and remove it. So let's save this, and if we check, now it is good to go. And if I click on post, let's say if I open this new title, if you remember in the new title I had added this comment new 1. But if let's say if we go to test does not have any comment, so it won't have any comment. So it is as simple as that to update the admin side and use it to speed up everything. But if we want to change the theme and UI UX of admin side, then that is whole other level of things what we have to do. So in this admin side, now there's one topic that is very important and many people face this issue, and also they want solution to it. So that is dropdown. That is dependent dropdown in the admin side of Django, or you can say the cascading dropdown in the Django admin side. So let's go ahead and create it. For that, I'll go to models and I'll actually copy paste 3 models, and I'll explain you all. To speed up this, I will just copy paste it. Okay. So we have 3 new models. One is country. It has name field, then one has city, then another is city model. It has name field and it has foreign key field of country. And third one is person. Let's say that person, we want to store the name and address. So name is there, address is there. Then we also want to store which country he belongs to and which city he belongs to. Now the problem is that a country, let's say a country like India city, Pune, Panjim, anything like that. So it should be only those city available in that particular country should be visible to us in order to save the data in the admin side, correct? And not like irrespective of whatever country is selected, it should not be showing all the cities, correct? So that is the problem that I want to solve, and I want to show you how you can do it. It is going to take some time, but trust me, it will be very helpful when you are doing this. So let me clear this. For this, we'll start by doing migration. So python manage.py make migrations, and migrations are done. Python manage.py migrate. Okay, migrate is also done. For this, we need to create a view where it will take in the country name or country ID, and then it will return us with the cities belonging to that particular country. So let's go ahead to the views.py and we'll create that. So I'll quickly import everything over here itself instead of going up and doing it again. Okay, first of all, I'll create the method or function. So I'll call it as get cities, and in this one it will take in request, and what we'll do is we'll try to select country underscore ID. This will come from request dot get, I'll say country. So what I'm doing is I'm taking country from the request, that means query params. Then we'll filter the city model with that particular country. So let's go ahead and filter it out. So I'll say cities equal to city.objects.filter where country underscore ID is equal to this country ID, and after that we are going to select only the values. So values will be ID and city, that means name, and finally we are going to do is return JSON response, and I will return it as list of cities. Okay, and I'll also give safe as false, correct? We just need to make this import. Let me go on top and let's see, we can import it. Yes, we can import that. Save, let me format the document. Done. So what I have done is, first of all, I have created these three models: country with name, city with name and country as foreign key field, then person with name, address, city and country. In the views, we have created a new function called as get cities, where it takes in the country from the request body or request query param, and it filters all the cities with that particular country ID, and it selects the ID and name, and then it returns the JSON response. Okay, we'll also have to create the URL for this, so let me go ahead and create that. For this, I'll call it as path, and in this one we are going to call it as admin/get cities. Okay, then we are going to use views dot get cities. We also need to give some name, so I'll give it as admin-get cities. Okay, we have created this URL now. Finally, we'll go to admin, and from now onwards it will be little difficult, but trust me, once you learn it, it will be easy. So first of all, we'll register all the sites. So admin.site.register, we'll register country. We'll actually import it. Let's copy paste it twice, and it should be model.country, model.city, and model.person. Now we want to do everything in person model, right? Because person model has two things. One is country and city, and we want to, and based on the country selected, we want to update the city, correct? So let's go ahead and create one class, and I'll call it as person admin. This will take in models.admin, it will take in admin.model admin, and in this one we need to specify form. So form equal to person form, and we need to create this form. Okay, so let's first register this. This is done. Now let's create our form. So for that we need to import the form from the Django's, correct? So from Django import forms. Now let's go at the bottom and we'll start creating our form. Class person admin form, let's call it as this. We'll take in we'll take in forms dot model form. Okay, we'll take in model form and we'll specify class meta. In this one we need to specify models. So models, actually model it should be, which is models dot person, and we need to specify fields as well. So fields equal to, we'll only take in name, address, country and city. We'll take in only these fields. Okay, and let's update this. Okay, done. Now there is one more thing in this form that we can do, that is def underscore underscore init underscore underscore, that is dunder init, and it will take in self comma arguments and dot dot or star star keyword arguments, args and kwargs. First we'll do is super, then dot init, and we'll pass in both the things, that is arguments and keyword arguments over here. Then let's say if country in, now let me fix my country spelling. So if country in self dot data, if there is country present in this, then we'll try to do something. Okay, we'll try to get the country ID, and it will be int self dot data dot get country. So first we'll get the country ID, then we'll say self dot fields, and in fields we'll say city, and its query set will be equal to models dot city dot objects dot filter country ID equal to country ID. So this I am doing because we want to handle the place when it is being edited, correct? So whenever the data is edited, we will check for country in the data, and then we will try to get all the fields related to that particular country itself. Okay, so we are trying to do that, and we'll give it as order by name. Okay, let's say if there is any exception, so except, it can be value error or type error, anything. So I'm going to handle both of them. If it is that, then we'll copy this and we'll say objects dot none. That means it won't be anything. What if, we'll say elif over here, and we'll also say self dot instance dot pk. That means if we are editing over here, previously actually if we had somehow country in our data, then this would handle it, and now let's say that if we are editing, then this code will handle it. Okay, so if that is the case, then we are going to again copy paste it over here, and at this time we won't have country ID in hand, correct? We will have this. So we'll take from here, we'll say instead of this we'll say city dot country, or we can even say direct instance dot country because country is present over there. And else we are going to again copy paste this. Let me format it. Done. Now there is one final thing in this admins.py that we have to do, that is include a JavaScript, so that whenever country is selected, An API call should be made to the this particular URL to get the city and update our city dropdown. So let's go ahead and add that. For that, we need to do is class media, and we'll say JavaScript equal to whatever we want to specify. So I'll specify js/person_admin.js. Okay, so this is my file. Let's create this file. For that, we'll go to static files, and in this static files I'm going to create a folder called a person_admin.js because that is my path. Now this is totally jQuery code, and API call will be made by using Axios. So I hope you have a little bit of understanding about JS and jQuery. Otherwise it will become a little difficult to understand it. So first I'll create a function. So function, I'll say load jQuery, and I'll even give a callback over here. In this one we'll say if type of jQuery is equal to undefined. If it is undefined, then we are going to load it, else we are going to say callback. Okay, so callback, that means jQuery is already loaded over here, otherwise we'll load it over here. So I'm going to say where script is equal to document.create element, and in this one we are going to say script. So that means it will create a script tag in the document, that means in the HTML, and in this script dot type we are going to say JS, that means text/JavaScript. It is same thing as what we do over here. Let me show you in the template. I hope I have added something. Yes. So for this, in the script we haven't given it. Okay, so we are adding type as text/JavaScript, and then we even give the script source dot, that is src equal to something. I'll give it soon. And then we'll say script dot onload equal to callback, and finally we'll say document dot head dot append child, that means append it into the head, that is script. Let me format it. Done. Okay, we need to add this. So what we can do is we can go to Google and say jQuery CDN. Okay, I have already searched it previously, so let me go to Google. We'll go to the first one and we'll select any one of them. You can select any one of them. I'll select minified one, and we'll copy the path, that is src. We'll go back, we'll paste it over here. You can go ahead and select whichever one you want. I wanted the latest one, so I have done it. Now our JavaScript is loaded. This we have to do because we are not updating any of the HTML template of the admin side. And finally we'll create the drop down. So I'll say it as function init drop down. In this one we'll take in dollar. Okay, and then we'll take dollar, and then we'll take is dollar open close bracket document dot ready. When it is ready, this function will be executed. That is, we'll say where country select is equal to dollar, that means select the country, hash id underscore country, then select the city also. So where city is equal to dollar hash id underscore city. We'll call it as city select just to be consistent with the name, and we'll say where initial city, that is city select dot val. That means we'll get the value of the city select. I'll fix the spelling of initial. Now we'll create a function inside this function. I know, but we can do that also. So we'll call it as update cities. Inside this, first we'll select the country value. So where it is country ID equal to country select dot value, that means take the value from there, and if there is no value in this country ID, then we'll say city select dot html as this particular format for this. So I'm going to use that value equal to double quotes, and we'll say double triple dash. It is up to you how many dashes that you want to give. So what I'm saying is, when this function is called and if country is not there, country is not selected, then show this as the value of the city drop down. Okay, that will be blank option, and of course we need to return from here, otherwise we'll do API call. So it is $.ajax. I hope you all know the Ajax. It is used for API calling, so we are using that. We'll give URL, and what URL we want to give? We want to give this URL that we created, that is admin/getCity. So I'll give that, and now in data we'll pass country. Okay, so country is equal to country ID. Now on success we want to handle it, right? Success, I'll create a function that will take in data, and this is a for loop where we are going to iterate over each and every data, that means each and every city, and create an option for that so that it can be appended into the drop down. So let's do that. So I'll call it as where option. So where option is equal to, first of course we want to give the blank one, so let's copy paste this, then we'll iterate over the data. Okay, so data will be for where I is equal to 0, I is less than data dot length, and I plus plus. I feel it's been ages since I have used this for loop, and we'll say where selected is equal to data of I dot id, because we want to also show if there is any value selected, then we want to show that, correct? So that's why we are doing this. Okay, so if we are checking whether it is selected or not, actually hey, for that we need to do is initial city. Okay, so if current city is the initial city, or that means the whatever current value of the data is there, if it is the initial city, then keep it as selected, else don't do anything. Okay, and we'll create option over here. So option plus equal to, because this in this we want to append it, we'll say option again over here, and in value we'll give some value. So value equal to double quotes plus, what will be the value? Data dot id, correct? So this id, data of I dot id plus single quote double quote. This is purely JavaScript or jQuery, JavaScript you can say, and we are using it for HTML. Okay, so let me close this option. Actually it will be closed like this. So our this part is complete till now. Now let's show the label. So for that again we need to do is one quote plus data I dot name, and let me bring all of them on different line. Okay, save format document with prettier. Okay, it did not work. I'll fix it manually. So name is present. Now after this we want to close this option, correct? So let's do that. For that what we'll do is we'll again create single quote, and these are not required, only it was required over here. And what about this selected? So we need to put it somewhere, correct? So let's try to put it over here. It should come before the closing of this particular bracket, right? So we'll put it over here. So plus selected plus single quote this. So what I have done over here is we have created an option, blank option. Then we are iterating over all the data in a for loop. Then we are also checking whether the current iteration data is the initial city. That means whether it is the selected one. And if it is, then append this, means like use the selected, otherwise blank. And we are creating this option. So in this option value, till this part it was same, and inside this we want to give id, right? So that is what we have given. Then this double quotes is closed, so that is over here. Then we have put this selected one, and finally we have closed this. Okay, let me put it, and then we have closed this, correct? So here we have closed it, and finally over here instead of dash dash we are showing some name, and finally we close this option. Okay, I have missed this. It should be plus, and now it should be fixed. Yes, now it is fixed. There was slight mistake, and it is done. Now this is done, correct? And we of course want to append these options to the HTML. So let's append it. For that I'll say city select.html, and I'll pass in the options, and that's it. Whenever any country will be selected, this particular updated option will be shown. Let me save this and come out of everything before the closing of, actually let me minimize this function. Okay, done. Now over here let's call up this function, and that will be called only when the country select is changed. So country select dot change will call this function, and finally we'll again call this update cities. This is because whenever page is loaded, of course we want to call it, right? So that's why this is done. And outside this, we of course want to call this function by default whenever this jQuery is loaded. So let's call that, and it is load jQuery. In this one we are going to say function open close bracket, and whenever that is done, we'll call our initialize dropdown, and in this one we need to pass in the jQuery. Save, because it is receiving a $. So save, format, done. Now let's run the project. Let's go back over here and we'll go to home. Let me close this. As you can see, we have 3 new models added. So let's go ahead and add first country. Let's call it as India. Save and add another one, that is USA. Save. Now there should be a city, right? So let's add city. I'll add is few cities. Pune, that belongs to India. Add Panjim. Okay, let me fix the spelling. PAN, that also belongs to India. Now let's add New York, that belongs to USA, correct? Save. Now let's go to blogs, we'll go to persons, and we'll try to add one. Now let's try to add a person. Let's say Shubham, and address we'll say test, and over here city you can see it is blank, correct? Now if we select country as India, and if I click on drop down, it is not loading. Let me see what happened, if there is some problem with this. Okay, it could not find person admin. So let me try to fix it up. So after spending some time on this JS not found issue, I was able to solve it out. All I had to do was like nothing basically. So this configuration still remains the same. In the URLs, all I have done is added this code. That means if the settings debug is true, that means if it is in development mode, for the URL patterns, add this static data. Add this static, that means static URL and static root. Okay, but still I don't think it makes any difference. Still please go ahead and add this up if you're facing this issue, and this should come in the URLs of SRC. So as you can see inside the SRC URLs. Then finally in the persons, there's no change in this. In the admin also, as you can see, the JS/person admin.js and ends with a comma. So that is done, and this person admin.js is present inside a static directory. Inside that a JS folder is there, and inside that this particular file is there, apart from static files. Okay, so this will automatically collect it. Okay, so please make sure to add it in static/js. Let's say that if I delete this, correct, you can delete it, Control C. Let's run the collect static again. If I run collect static, it collects in the static files, because that is what we have specified over here. And if I expand this, as you can see, it creates the JS. That means it copies it. So that means it was working previously, but just that we had not run the collect static command, so that's why it had not worked. So let me run the server, and now if you go and refresh this page, you should not be getting anything. So let's go ahead and add some data. So let me add as Shubham, let's say test, and if you see over here, country is not there, and we'll go to network. Okay, let's shift to fetch/xhr, and actually let me zoom in because you all might not be able to see it. And if I select country, city, there's nothing. But if I select country as India, as you can see, an API call is made, and in the payload ID1 is sent. Meanwhile, the preview returns with the data, that is name as Pune and Panjim, because that belongs to country India. And if I select now, as you can see, we have these two. Let's say if I select USA, we have New York, because that is what we have created. So let's select India, and let's say I live in Panjim. I'll click on save. Now if you go to add another, again same thing will happen, correct? But let's go back, and if I click on Shubham, as you can see, it is already pre-selected. That means it was able to save the data. So like this, we were successfully able to create dependent dropdown in our admin side. Then we were also successfully able to update this list display, and also show these filters, as well as show this inline comments, or that means inline drop downs, also show this inline comments. And we were also able to fix the admin related CSS issues. So that's it for this video and for this Django series. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.